Hi guys, it's me, Miss Manifester, helping you open a spiritual doorway to the abundance that you deserve. On the channel today, we're going to be talking about masculine and feminine energy and the importance of balancing these energies when it comes to your manifestations. Before we get started, make sure you click the subscribe button and hit the bell to get an update from me every time I upload, which is on Tuesdays with Law of Attraction advice and Wednesdays with subliminals. Let's get started. So we're just going to begin with a little diagram that I've made showing you the differences between the masculine and feminine energies. The masculine is typically governed by the left side of the brain and the feminine by the right side of the brain. It's important to note that masculine and feminine energy coexist within all of us, no matter what our gender is. So men are not all masculine energy and women are not all feminine energy. We are all made up of different balances of both. And it's important that we have a balance of both energies within us. We cannot be all of one and none of the other, particularly when it comes to manifesting, which I will discuss in a bit. And the yin and yang energy in Chinese medicine sums this up perfectly. You cannot be exclusively all of one energy. So here we've got the divine and balanced qualities of both, and we've also got the wounded and unbalanced qualities of both. Masculine is typically a disciplined, confident action taker, very stable, responsible, goal-driven, an analytical person, a strategist, someone who is very purpose-driven. The feminine energy is one much more of receiving, of being very grounded and intuitive, very warm, knows when to be vulnerable, very in touch with your emotions, likes to have lots of reflective time, very gentle and nurturing, a compassionate and supportive energy. But if you are unbalanced in either of these areas, these can bring out the wounded, the lower vibration, not so positive characteristics within you. So if you have wounded masculine energy, you can become too competitive, too argumentative, dominating, unsupportive, confrontational, controlling. You can be cold and heartless and emotionless. You can be quite unstable. And if you are wounded in the feminine, you can become insecure, moving into a victim mentality. You're over emotional and sensitive. You can be too needy and dependent on others. This can make you manipulative as you try to control them. You can also become too passive and not prone to taking necessary action. And also because you're so warm and open, it can put you in a place of overgiving and people-pleasing, which leaves you feeling burnt out. The relevance of all this when it comes to your manifestation, as I've talked about on the channel, is being in the flow of action or surrender, letting go, or when to pick up the baton and take the action. If you are all in your masculine energy, you are ready to take action. You're like, I'm ready to go. I really want this. What more can I do? But what happens there is you can end up pushing. You can end up trying too hard. You end up getting frustrated because you're going, I've tried everything. I've tried everything and it's not working. I'm just getting ready to give up. You're trying to control something that is out of your control. You can't put the timeline on your manifestation. And that's when you need to learn how to surrender and how to let go, because the more you're trying to control the outcome, the more you're trying to push it, the more resistance you're putting on the path. It's not all about you. It's not all about you giving. It's also about you being able to receive. If you're not able to receive and you're not able to surrender, then you're not going to be able to get your manifestations. So some classic signs that you need to move into your feminine energy, if you identify as being more masculine, is that you do feel burnt out, you feel fed up, you feel tired, you feel like you've tried for so long and you're just not getting anywhere. That is the time where you need to put your hands in the air and go, you know what, I surrender and I'm about to move into my feminine energy and I'm about to shift my focus, shift my point of attraction. Similarly, if you're someone who's in their feminine energy, that's great, because being in feminine energy means that you are very intuitive, you're really listening to yourself, you're very emotionally connected, and you're really able to receive because you trust the universe. But sometimes the universe wants you to be assertive, it wants you to take action. And when you go into the feminine, you can kind of become a bit passive. I don't like to use the word lazy, but you don't always recognize when it's your turn to pick up the baton and when you're being given a green light to go for something and you need to go, you need to be driven, you need to be more assertive and go for it. And sometimes we get so emotional and we're kind of going around in that energy space that it's hard to see like the wood through the trees sometimes, and you need that logical clarity of like, let's get going. So a sign that you're not in your best feminine energy is when you're feeling burnt out and frustration because people are taking too much from you. You're such a warm, kind, compassionate person, but people often are drawn to that light. And especially as an empath, which you most likely are, you will be taking on a lot of people's emotions, which can leave you feeling really drained. Your cup gets empty, and that doesn't put you in the best place to fill up your own cup and for you to be able to serve others or take the action that you need. Often you might feel like people are taking the mick out of you because you're like, oh, I just give so much and I don't get much back from people. But because you care, you're like, oh, I don't want to let this person down. So that's a sign that you're kind of in your feminine energy burnout. And in that case, you need to step up and be a little bit more assertive, set some more healthy boundaries and say, you know what, I'm setting these boundaries for me. This is the time that I need. This is the time that I need to do the things that I want to do, to be creative, which is one of your natural strengths in your feminine energy, to give yourself time, to reflect, to get clarity. One of the biggest things that masculine and feminine energy can sit down and do with this is reflecting, finding the clarity of what it is that you want, how it is that you want to feel, and setting the intention and working out action-wise what you need to do to support that. So someone in their feminine energy may need to set the intention that they're going to say no a bit more, so that they're not being taken advantage of and then they're not pleasing, and they're going to be a little bit more proactive. Whereas someone in the masculine may find that they need to delegate more, they need to give things up to people so that they can release a bit of control. They may need to take a holiday, you may need to just slow down and just get present with who you are. Often in the masculine energy, because we're so like go, 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 we don't end up being present and like appreciating things as much because we're often quite like busy moving on to the next thing. We're like, right, that's a tick in a box. But we have to get into that state of appreciation and that state of gratitude. So it's about slowing down for you. So to summarize that, if you're in your masculine energy, but you're too in your masculine energy, you need to find a way to slow down, to surrender, to distract yourself, to let things go so that you are more open to receiving. Whereas if you're in your feminine energy, you need to get clear, you need to create some structure, perhaps set some goals, be a bit more assertive, put some more boundaries in place to build yourself up so that you can move forward productively. In the past, men have been expected to be the action takers, the breadwinners, the hunters, the ones that were providing for their family because we're going back to our ancestors and the roles that they took on. Whereas in the past, women were expected to stay home, to be the nurturers, to take care of the children, to be warm, to be loving. But we're moving into very different times now, especially over the last century, where women are creating their own businesses. Women have been given a lot more rights. But also, men need to be able to express their feminine side. There are a lot of men out there that have got a lot of feminine energy qualities to them, very creative people. But there's a lot of women out there that are very driven, very, very driven. And it's important not to discourage those, to stigmatize those, to label those in a bad way. You know, that woman is bossy, or that man is too feminine, or whatever. Like, it's really important that the women encourage men to be who they want to be and allow them to be vulnerable. But it's important that the men praise the women for stepping up and stepping into their feminine power as action takers as well. It's about us finding our balance as a collective, accepting that we've all got different balances of our masculine and feminine energy. No one is ever going to be perfectly 50-50. There is always going to be a dominant one, and that's fine. And actually that will play to our strengths. You know, we've got those qualities for a reason, for whatever it is that we've come here to do, whatever it is that we want to create. But we need to move into a space where we accept everybody for who they are and where they're at in their energy. So I would just like to encourage you to accept yourself for who you are in terms of your energy, but also accepting others and encouraging them with their natural skills and their natural energy set. I'm now going to show you something called the Wayne Cook posture, which is an exercise that actually helps you to unscramble your energy and to rebalance the left and the right side of your brain. So I'm going to just move the camera back now so that I can show you it, because you're going to need all your body parts in order to do this. So I'm just going to move that back and then we can begin. So first of all, you're going to put your hands together and see which thumb lands on the top. So my left hand thumb has landed on the top. So what I'm going to do is then put my left leg over my right knee. Then I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to place it on my ankle like this. Then I'm going to take my left arm. So as you can see, it's left arm across, left knee across. And I'm going to wrap my hand like that. So my palm is flat on my foot and my fingers are under there like that. And I'm just going to take a deep breath in and I'm going to pull on my foot. So, and release. And then again. And release. And one more time. And release. You can do that about 4 or 5 times. Then what you're going to do is you're going to swap sides. So right leg goes over, left hand goes on my ankle, and then right arm comes across and wraps around the foot. And take a deep breath in and pull on that foot and release. And then you can do that another sort of 4 or 5 times for that leg. Then you're going to take your hands like this and kind of put them in like a little steeple, like a triangle. And you're going to put your thumbs, I'll just come in a bit closer because you can't see very well. So here, like between like the eyebrows and the bridge of the nose, kind of like in the third eye area. And you're just going to breathe in deeply. Just stay there for a few breaths, and then what you're going to do is you're going to curl your fingers into the center of your forehead, like so, and you're just going to gently run your fingers like that down your forehead and behind your ears, and take a nice deep breath in. Oh, that feels so good. So that is the Wayne Cook posture. Let me come back in a bit closer. So that is the Wayne Cook posture. That is a really great way to unscramble your energies and balance both sides of your brain, which obviously is where your masculine and feminine are operating from. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow for the subliminal and next Tuesday for another Law of Attraction video. Take care, bye.